me get a beat, I kick it funky like feet. Let me get a beat, I kick it feet like. Let me get a beat, I kick it funky like feet. Let me get a beat, I kick it feet like.
Woo, I got chills, bro.
Me too.
I was balling. I saw Ozfest in '96 in SoCal, and I'll never forget it. You know,
You saw Ozfest when?
in '96 in SoCal.
96 in SoCal. Okay, I just told a group of my buddies that I got to see him at the Long Beach Arena in 1984.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So there's a clock ticker. Like that was like my splash of hard rock, right? Actually, my splash was Motley Crue at the Whiskey A Go Go, but that was a whole nother level, right?
Mine was 311 in Tahoe. First rock experience.
311.
311, man. That fucking band just blew my mind. I got laid that night. It was amazing.
Not where I expected this to go, but I like it. Neil, you want to contribute to the rock?
I think that was like the icing on the cake right there. It was like, you know, it was that good that he remembered the music and the sex. I mean, come on.
Neil, what was one of your first concerts? Take us back to the high school years.
My first concert actually was my cousin won tickets on Z100 for Aerosmith, which is the big Z100 is the big New York City kind of, you know, main station. Okay. And she didn't have anyone to bring. She was like 16 and she didn't have anyone to bring with her. And so I went. I was like 12 going to see. And I was like 8th row center for Aerosmith's Get a Grip tour. And what was wild about it was like, it was the first time I saw nipples in person. Like people are throwing, like women are getting naked for him, like all this. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, but
I like
it was when he used to have, Steven Tyler had these like 20-foot poles jutting out of the stage because he would run off the stage and hang on them and then swing himself back into the stage while he was singing and not miss a note.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's far from that now. I think he just canceled his concert tour because he's got a bad hip. But man, great days and another legend. And obviously throwing Ozzy up, I'm like, okay, what's the tune I'm going to open up with? And got to give him a tribute. Guy was absolutely a legend. You guys, I haven't seen you guys or heard from you guys in a while, so I got to tell you this story. If you guys have been following me, you've seen that I've been over on the other side of the pond for the last 5 weeks. I had an opportunity to go from where my event was, which was a northern part of UK in the city of Leeds.
Oh, my favorite race city.
I could have taken a train an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours max, over to Birmingham for that last concert. And the only reason why I didn't do it is because I had a family member flying from Milan over into London to meet me just for a day. And then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I should just buy the family member a ticket. And, hey, we're going to Birmingham, right? And I actually sat back with an investor. We had what's called Investor Day at this climb event. And this guy was talking about Birmingham. He was talking about Black Sabbath. And I'm like, huh? I didn't connect. And, you know, I was so out of tune with real life and news and everything. I can't tell you how many people were asking me about our politics while I was over there. And it wasn't until after that interview, and I think the day of, where I'm like, oh my gosh, he was actually offering me a backstage pass to go to that concert. And even my wife and I last night, she's like, you should have gone. I'm like, no, family first, but man, Ozzy is a close second, right?
It's what Ozzy would have wanted, is you to be with your family. Yeah.
Man, he did it his way though. I mean, have you guys seen the video air yet of his last?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just one song when he was singing Mama I watched, but yeah, you could tell.
Amazing. Another superhero, Superman. You guys seen the new flick yet?
No.
I
want to see Tron. I'm just waiting to go to Tron, and that's it.
Heck yeah.
I broke out of the fucking game, and I'm like, I've been dreaming of this since 1984. Like,
wait, time out. There's another Tron because what's his face did the first one.
No, when you go, it gets better. When you go see the Formula One movie, which you need to,
which I haven't done that yet. Yes,
the Tron preview is as good as Formula One was. I walked away only talking and thinking about Tron. And there's a de-reser that's going over like the streets of New York IRL and light bikes on fucking winding mountain roads.
Wow.
And the soundtrack is by guess who?
I have no idea. Oh, EDM. Who?
Better. 9 Inch fucking Nails.
Oh, right. Trent. Really? Oh, yes. Shaggy loves 9 Inch Nails. That's awesome. No wonder why you're buzzing.
Yeah.
Neil, have you seen either one of those movies yet? F1?
I have not. I'm just over here trying not to get Liver Kinged, Coldplayed, or Tim Kennedy'd. Like, I'm just
aren't we all?
I knew that was going to come up somewhere. And I'm like, I'm not opening with that. I'm opening with Ozzy, but somewhere I knew the Coldplay.
Well, my Ozzy story is simple. I grew up in the Caribbean in the 80s, and I had one piece of vinyl, which was the Black Sabbath album with the orgy on the front.
Yeah.
So I had to hide it from my parents, and as soon as they would leave, I have all my rocker friends come over, full volume on a Technics amp and speakers, and we had the local Dominican kids coming in there, and we would just rock out and drink like rum. And that we did that like every weekend for like 2 months.
Air guitar and all, right?
Yeah.
Air guitar and all. Well, check this out. Fun fact. What has increased, guys, 124% over the last 25 years? I'll give you a hint. We've been talking about it. 124% increase in what over the last 25 years?
Concert tickets.
Movie tickets.
Movie tickets. All right.
Back in 2020, Shaggy was taking his date or wife or whoever it was. Maybe I can't say kid because kid's not that old. $19.66 was the cost on average for 2 tickets and concessions. Yeah. You know, some popcorn, a soda, and some what do you got? Some red vines. Today, $44 is what the average cost is. And guys, that doesn't include the dinner. That doesn't include the drinks. And that doesn't include the gas. It might just cost you $5 just to get to the movie theater. Think about that.
We go to this place called the Audrey upscale, like fine dining kitchen. You can order from the Luxo seats. We spend $200 with 2 of us. And all we get is 2 martinis each and like whatever, the sushi and the steak or the hamburger. And that's it.
Yeah.
I've often thought about if there was ever a industry that needs to actually get disrupted beyond putting recliner seats and steaks at a table in front of you, it's got to be the movie industry for sure.
Hold this thought because I'll tell you what my startup is. You're going to die. You're going to die. And I want to know all of your thoughts as well because we're building the damn thing.
All right, we're going to get into that. Like I was talking to these guys in the green room. I haven't caught up with Shaggy. I don't know what he's doing. He started to talk to Neil, and I said, wait, save it for the show. So definitely want to get into that. You guys ready to do this thing?
Let's do it.
Well, let's do it. My name is EP, and this is Epic Hype. Today's show is sponsored by Prancer, Prancer.io. Is your cloud secure or just hoping that it is? Meet Prancer, the platform that puts your cloud compliance on autopilot with AI-driven continuous validation. From policy as code to attack simulation, Prancer hardens your environment before the hackers even try. Ready to shift left and stay ahead? Well, then head over to Prancer.io. Tell Farshid that EP sent you and mention the word epic to get an epic discount. That's Prancer.io. Today on Epic Hype, I have not one, but 2 ballers on the show. They are familiar faces for those of you that have followed Epic Hype. One brings hard-earned wisdom from both explosive highs and dramatic burnout, proof positive that unicorns aren't built on hype alone. And the other, his front row seat to emerging threats in AI firmware and enterprise security understands how promising tech can derail spectacularly under the surface. These 2 gentlemen are the perfect tag team to unpack the topic today, which is epic tales about epic fails. Yes, that is the topic on the table. That's here in Startup Land. One is from the inside of the burnout and rebirth cycle. The other from the cutting edge of what can go wrong when tech outpaces readiness. He is a former U.S. Marine turned Fortune 100 strategist who also built and raised $1 million for a unicorn-scale cybersecurity startup and survived burning out at the seams. Born and raised in Queens, he's a self-taught in coding and data, launched a $1 million in 90 days digital agency that collapsed just as fast, sold Christmas trees in New York City, fun fact, underwent an ayahuasca journey in the jungle, and I know Neal's going to help me with that, and emerged as a global advisor, coach, speaker, and, oh yeah, father on AI and mindset audits and high-performance business systems. He's a hustler, baby. He is Neal Captain America Conlon. Neal, what is up, my man?
What's up, man? I love that intro. Thank you. It's mildly uncomfortable and factually true. So thank you for that. Good to see you.
You can buy me lunch at Black Hat.
Let's do it.
Allow me to introduce another, shall I say, badass dude. He is a top cybersecurity and AI evangelist, a global brand ambassador, CISO, podcast host, and stealth AI startup leader, who's also a startup growth advisor, an event hype expert. A brother from another. He's known for his deep dive LinkedIn posts on quantum ready secure OSs, firmware threats like UEFI bootkits, and the phrasing out. How about this? The phasing out of SMS-based 2FA in enterprise security. He is Scott. Call me Shagghie Scheferman. Shaggy, hi, Shaggy. Don't call me low. Good day, my fine sir. How the hell are you?
I'm so good. I'm so ready for this, Edward. I can't even tell you, man. This is these are always the best ones. Yes. And I'm always humbled and happy to be here. And boy, this is going to be a heater. I can feel it, brother.
I mean, I love having you guys on, and we were just talking about brainstorming an idea to get us three together more often, and because we know we got something special here. And the cool thing that we all have in common is experience with our clients that we are either employed by or contracted by. And I'm not talking the ones currently, I'm talking the ones over the years. And we see the good, we see the bad, and man, we see a lot of ugly. So I thought, let's talk about the tales that are out there and the truth that's out there. Nobody speaks truth better than my two guests today. So we're going to throw them down. I'm going to lob up 3, maybe 4, maybe we get to 5 different, what we'll call failures that we see out there. And then let's kind of pick them apart a little bit. I want you guys to, let's be respectful. We're not here to rip on any particular company, but we can say I had this customer, I had this experience. And then there is some that are definitely for public knowledge that I will drop today that I don't personally have any experience with. But again, you guys have probably seen documentaries out there. You guys have heard from a friend, or if you guys are like Shaggy, myself, and Neal, you've been there, done that, and want to make sure that you avoid that at all costs. So we want to make this educational. I want to make this to make sure that startup founders and CEOs right now, you're going into Black Hat just a few weeks away, and you're thinking, all right, I know a lot of people are after me right now. A lot of people are starting to throw ideas of grandeur of money at me because I made a top list. But man, it's a long road. It's not just getting that first money, which might be the seed, might be the early stage. But even when you take a B, C, or D, what you're doing with it, who you're hiring, it's all going to be here today. We're going to throw some great things down, and I hope you guys can take away some great gold nuggets that can help you kind of pivot the right direction to help you do nothing but continue to scale up. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. The first one I'm going to put up on deck is, again, as far as the problemos, is market fit. No market fit. Again, I'm going to bite my lip. I'm not going to throw names out there. But there is an experience that I've had over the last 12 months. Leave it at that. And, the guy at the top or the pair at the top, in this case, it's a duo. Visions of grandeur, the excitement they have. And unfortunately, nobody has told them yet And no. And you need to surround yourself with people in your circle, right, guys? Of people that are going to be comfortable telling you, hey, Neal, like your studio, but the backdrop, it just needs a little tweak. And if people are afraid to tell you those things, man, sometimes you're like, man, I never thought of it like that. And why hasn't anybody told me? It could be a partner, the wrong channel, the wrong feature, or too many features. I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's pry into this. You guys have any one particular example or experience where you were involved or you were counseling somebody and they had some cotton in there and they weren't getting that? Hey, you don't have a fit here. The market is not ready for you. You haven't done your research. Thoughts?
Ooh, yeah. Shagghie, you want to go first?
I can throw down real fast, and I won't even speak to specific examples, Ed, because so many of them fit this.
$5 every time he calls me Ed, Neal. He owes me $5. I had him up to $25 on the last round. I love you. Go.
I'll see myself out. So I will tell you that, especially in the cyber thing that we do, the main problem is that when you're doing something really cool and novel and trying to solve a problem a new way, by definition, there's no market fit to begin with. So there's no market fit because my head's in the sand and I don't listen, like you were talking about. But there's also no market fit because I haven't even planted the seed. There's no impetus in the market. There's no color of money. There's no recognized need. There's no awareness. There's only ignorance. And yet you're trying to solve a really important problem. And you're solving it for 1, 2, 3, maybe in my case, I'm solving 6 years back from quantum to today. So I'm working backwards from the future. Hard to build that damn plane while it's flying. But what I'm saying is there often is a market fit, but the founders are in their head, on their whiteboard with their team around them, and they haven't gone out and properly driven the market, the product from the market, and taken general marketing concepts and saying, what do we need to articulate? What does that easy button look like? What is the value actually? What does it feel like even to experience that value as you're doing the damn thing? And so you have to create that space.
Drive demand.
You have to create it so that when the watershed event hit in Silence, that was WannaCry. We were 16 months ahead of that payload in predictive anticipation and stopped it before it executed. But nobody cared about predictive AI until the watershed. Eclipsium, same thing. What did we just read? The vulnerability that Vlad and I discovered at the BMC level with AMI at the very top of the IT supply chain was just exploited and ends up on the known exploited vulnerabilities with CISA. And that watershed moment is now going to propel, and there was other ones prior to, propel Eclipsium and this awareness.
Demand. So there's the demand. 42% of startups fail because there is no demand. So those two examples you just threw out there, Scott, it was an event but when you start a business, you can't pray for that type of event. What that does is I think you used the word propels. It's a catalyst. That's what I always say. You need a little bit of you need a good team, great product, good process, and then a little bit of luck. And it might be a news event.
I will disagree. I will disagree, and I'll hand it over to Neal, just for sake of this whole experience we always have, this dialogue. I think you absolutely need to be building a product that in 2 years you absolutely have conviction, wisdom, and you've studied hard enough to know that in fact it will be paramount to solving the broader problem in that space. Fair. And if you're not doing that, all you're trying to do is get some OpEx and become a company with some form of revenue in a sea of competitors and incumbents and technologies that are well understood. Yeah. And so break that and build the thing that will, in fact, be relevant in a year, 2 or 5.
So, Neal, those glasses that Shagghie took off earlier, those are Tony Stark's that he had to spend a lot of money for. He actually can see the future. So he's actually able to actually know what he's talking about. Neal, let's hear from Neal's corner. Curious, more so probably, I'm guessing, from clients that you've consulted, because you do a lot of that and you go in and help these guys make the pivots and help them see and help them put on Neal Conlon glasses. Actually, Neal, I have seen you wear glasses, but not on a daily basis. What's your take?
Well, I think one of the biggest values that I always bring to conversations is I'm always going to bring in like a real third party like perspective, not a Gartner. I'm being paid to tell you this, what you want to believe, not the Forrester. You're paying me to hype you up. And I'll give you everyone a really good real time example, and then we'll break it down for like 10 seconds.
Awesome.
I was working with a company this year that came out of Y Combinator. I have very negative things to say about Y Combinator. We can save that for another episode. And they are constantly looking in the market and trying to find, in a very saturated software world of cybersecurity, these product market fits. And so they cranked out a founder who came from with a PhD in AI and ML, created this thing, funded them like 10 million bucks, and set him out into the founder world and basically was like, grind it out, find your product market fit, and we'll keep on funding you. Go get some clients. And he got introduced to me through my network. And I said, look, I'm going to take 45 days and I'm going to walk you into about 30 CISOs across the country, because not only the vendor side, but on the CISO side, people know I'm coming as a third party. So like I will get a whole different, people actually answer my text messages. People pick up the phone and talk to me because I built those relationships, which is probably one of the most important things here. But after 45 days of digging into the trenches of this product market fit problem, a company out there in cybersecurity that is large, that rhymes with the word dribble, came across and was like, you do realize that if we just click the button, that company becomes a feature in our stack.
Huge.
And there's an interesting thing that a lot of these founders, technical founders especially, need to realize, that if the goal is for you to get acquired by the CrowdStrikes of the world, the Googles of the world, and all you're building is a feature, that's cool, but be very clear about it. I think the biggest thing is, like, in an effort to appease your customer base and the investors and the marketplace, people are telling these weird stories where, like, we're great for this and this and this, and it's unequivocally not true when you compare it to the rest of the marketplace. And I think that's a big challenging thing, because at the end of the day, the revenue is the oxygen of your business. And if you're too busy fumbling along with like how you're going to create the oxygen, instead of like going and selling and selling and selling, especially if you're coming from a technical, like if your team is technical and technical and technical, the funny thing about a lot of these companies is they come up with these great, grandiose go-to-market strategies because the investors like the way it looks. They're going to send 10,000 emails. But if one of those 10,000 emails is going to be from 2 years ago from the Black Hat booth that I didn't go to, and you're telling me you're looking forward to seeing me at Black Hat again, and the account's changed hands 4 times,
right,
and you spent $50,000 on this demand gen program when you really only need 4 clients a month, go out to dinner, take people to F1, go build real relationships and see if there's a real product market fit.
Yep.
Instead of this data attribution BS that people are doing now.
I love where you're going with that. And I just realized that we could make 5 shows out of this topic today with 5 different problems. That's okay. I had a dinner over the weekend with a very long-time friend who was a business owner, or is a business owner. And he talked about how, he's looking back at one of his failures and how he had referenced, I wish I had to talk to somebody on the outside to come in, to sit down, that didn't know the team, but that could say things freely and speak to me and identify gaps that our own team didn't know we had, or a few people on the team knew that we had, but couldn't come out front and say them comfortably, because sometimes people are just too damn passive. They don't want to be the hand that gets slapped. Let's move on to the next one, because I know we could go back and forth. Great job, guys, on that first one, knocking it out of the park. Number 2 is this stuff right here, right? The cash. You get some cash, you burn some cash. You get some cash, you burn. Sometimes you get it, you don't spend it anywhere, or you're very like, I got to hold it very, very tight. So people go out and spend it all in marketing. Fail. Some people go out and spend it all in engineering or developing. Might be really good. Some people try to distribute it amongst multiple areas, and this is why you need to have a good advisory board around you, people that have been there, done that, and can talk about these failures. 29% of startups fail because they run out of runway. The plane's not getting the nose up off the ground, not selling anything, not getting the product out in time, no MVP yet. They're mismanaging the funding or overspending on the hiring. That VP you brought in at that one price, oh my gosh, not even paying for him or herself. Marketing, why are we doing marketing when we don't even know what the product fit is? Kind of goes back to the last one. So tracking your burn rate, not just, looking at the bank balance, but tracking, understanding the cash conversion cycle, monitoring key metrics, and understanding what those metrics are. And you're talking amongst your team. I love transparency. I've worked for a startup before where everything was transparent. Everybody in the company, up until, let's call it 25 employees, got to see everybody's metric, like starting with the CEO, right? And Shagghie, it's somebody that you and I know very well from back at the Green Machine. And I give that guy kudos for being very transparent, because, as employee number 5 through 50, you're kind of like, sometimes, I think this is what's happening. I talked to another guy last week, Friday, and he is an investor of a company, and he hasn't even seen the numbers yet. Now think about what I just said there. He's an investor, and the transparency has not been brought to him yet. It's coming, but sometimes you need to make sure you're not putting the cart before the horse. You guys want to lead off, and maybe you lead off on this one, Neal, on companies that don't get the nose up fast enough. Yeah,
totally. I think one of the things I've learned over the years is in the early days of funding and those first 25 employees, there's a lot of emotions, right? There's a lot of movement, a lot of energy goes into it, a lot of blocking and tackling. And I say to everybody that I work with, before you have an emotional problem, you have a math problem, right? And they're looking always, like you just said it, right away, everyone goes into $1 million, hits the bank. This just happened for one of my clients yesterday morning. $1 million hits the bank. They get stressed out. Why? Because they're thinking about how they're going to spend the money.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about how they're going to make money after that $1 million. And what's wild to me is I've talked to dozens of startups in the past couple of years, and they do not understand 2 basic metrics. And the big thing is that nobody focuses on those metrics until they're going to go for a big, large raise, and they bring in a heavy-duty CFO, a heavy hat, and they spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years not focused on what are we willing to pay for the cost of acquisition for a customer, and what are we willing to pay because of the lifetime value of that customer to us.
Good.
You figure out those 2 metrics, everything else becomes a whole lot easier. And you're actually going to hold on to your cash and burn less of it, because those are like truth tellers in your business.
Yeah.
Awesome. Scott, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll take a slightly counter perspective here. You mentioned like Y Combinator. The biggest mistake of this entire process for, let's say, a net new startup, right, gets $1 million, 10 million, whatever, is that the ask of the investor is not sufficient, and the often you acquire less money than you actually need. We know this. I'm not convinced that startups spend money poorly or mismanage or feel that pressure to earn. The founders I'm talking to are heads down, working 24/7, being as efficient and trying to optimize, especially these days with AI and agentic workflows and all this, to find beyond optimization. I mean, hyper like levels of efficiencies. And then when it comes to so get enough money so that you don't have to worry about what you're spending it on. You can keep your head down. Like your milestones, they're going to shift. Your competition's going to shift. The threat landscape's going to shift. It's all going to shift. So articulate well enough, and the investors need to do more due diligence to really support these teams and bring up the questions like Neal's bringing up front early on. The second thing is marketing. You mentioned, Ed, in your intro.
$10.
Marketing is not what everybody hears. When you say the word marketing, it shouldn't mean what we think it means off the riff, right? Marketing at that early stage means doing the diligence that Neal was talking about, and indeed speaking to everybody. And you have to speak to everybody. When it comes to transparency as a concept, founders, because of their egos and genuine fears and what their lawyers tell them to, often are afraid to discuss what they believe is going to be their secret sauce. And my counter perspective, it's not necessarily an imperative, but my perspective is that if you're building something with the right team, wisdom, skills, and experience, then don't be afraid of talking through what your easy button's going to look like, and even how you're going to get there, because you're going to have to build faster, smarter, and wiser anyway to even succeed at all, right? So own that truth, and maybe you're not ready for it, but if you can own that truth for yourself and internalize it, if you can hop in an elevator as a PhD, former MIT graduate, and articulate in one sentence what you're building and why, great. But 99% of the people I talk to can't even do that for themselves in the mirror, let alone somebody else.
Or maybe to add to that, whatever's coming out of your mouth and you're delivering, it needs to be, you need to get a reaction from the other side where, like they understand, yes, that's a great idea. I need that, or that's something that we don't have. And if it's technology, it's tough.
You got to do it for yourself and all of your, whether it's 25 or it's 6, like in my case right now, you have to have everybody in person on the same page, able to do that, not for the sake of articulation in the elevator, but for their own ownership of what they're building and why, and build their conviction on how they're going to get there. Indeed, early on. Otherwise you get busy and you jump to code. Everybody's jumping to code so fast in this process that they're not stopping to look for gaps, to look for partners. Instead of building it yourself, partner over here. Like we're saying about you're building a feature, you got to really strategize, and that requires money and time. So back to the first point, make sure you front load that, because that's real marketing early on. That's actually market fit, bro. Like you can't imagine that your market fits. You have to know with empirical data that indeed it will fit.
Speaking of fit, I got to keep fitting everything in for this show. Let's keep rolling. Great job, guys. This one is, all three of us get phone calls, and we reach out and talk to startup founder CEOs for this one. They have a team, or, in your case, Shagghie, and this might be a great opportunity for you to talk about your newest opportunity. You're getting the phone call, or you're talking, you're meeting and greeting, and they're getting ready to build a team. Or just the opposite. They have had a team, or they've had a person in engineering, a head of operations, a head of sales revenue, and it wasn't the right person. And, they have this umbilical cord called 12 months, and they find out after 12 months. It's interesting why it takes 12 months and why you can't, it's a whole nother show in itself. But when it comes to team leadership and failures, this actually is accountable for 23%. Around 23% of poor team composition or founder internal conflicts is a reason for a collapse. I mean, one of you guys joked about it earlier. I forget which one. I got to give you credit for the gold plate scandal. I think it was Neal. I mean, talk about a collapse. Like, a couple leaders leaving, leaders of people, and leader of sale. What was it? The CEO? Was it the CEO? Yeah, gone. So, think about that. Like, some companies are like, yeah, no problem. We didn't need him anyways. Or That's okay. I still got my pipeline full, or all these hires are still going to happen. But other companies might be like, oh, wow, yeah, that's going to leave a mark. So curious as to what your guys' take is on it. Like overall, Shagghie, why don't you take this one? Like how big, maybe an example you can use, or actually, why don't you talk about your newest gig and talk about how you've been a new hire coming out of stealth and how important that is. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a pretty damn big role for you. One that this is your first CISO role, is it not?
That's correct. I've been advising CISOs of the VCISO, but that's it.
Yeah. So how
and
was that now, being on the other side of the table where you're going to get a phone call from Neal saying, yo, you want to go in a chopper?
I need to call Neal, not the other way around. Okay.
Thank you.
So
yes, you do.
I'm going to take a deep breath, and you're going to have to listen because I'm going to flow really fast and hard, and I'm going to cover a lot in probably 30 seconds. This is not an elevator pitch. This is way worse than that, because what we're building is an extremely different paradigm and a new future, and we're breaking every single rule that is in technology. We're building something that doesn't exist at all, and we're building two things. The first, I don't even know if I can flow this fast enough, a quantum-resistant blockchain operating system using ZK proofs and anchored in identity as well there. A back-end data analytics system by the guy who created credit card points and all that in the 80s and 90s, and personality. He's a psychologist and PhD and data scientist. And we're going to take all that data and do things with it that have never been done before. It's very important. We're going to give the user ultimate sovereignty over all of their data, their privacy, in what we're calling intelligence itself data, which is not raw data, but actual intelligence based on personality. And then we're going to give them sovereignty indefinitely forever. Each user will have effectively their own blockchain assigned to them. Okay? Now, this is just the beginning. All that to support an empathetic, highly agentic AI companion for, get this, children. The hardest thing to ever crack. Safety, privacy, security, all of it, right?
Yeah, I know how passionate that is for you. That's awesome, Scott.
I have a young daughter. She's turning 11. I'm like, we got to do this right. We don't build this thing, everybody's screwed, including my kid. So I wake up in the morning, and this is why I'm doing the damn thing. I'm also a partner in this. I took half of my retirement, put it in an LLC as an IRA, and I invested half of my 30-year cyber career retirement into this, because that's how important it is to me. This will be my last job forever. Okay.
Wow.
Now, after all that's built, this is our first customer, is a Hollywood customer. The movie will drop in thousands of theaters. I can't give you too much on, I have to be careful what I share, but at the end of the day, you're playing a Roblox game, and next to you have an agentic AI companion. I won't even tell you the form it takes, but it's an animal, and it has long-term memory and all the things and productivity apps, social, all the things you do, but all contained in that sovereign blockchain privacy ecosystem. Yeah. And then all of this, after you've built this quantum resistant infrastructure, architecture, mechanisms, identity, authentic, all the things that I have to design, right? Then we're going to take that and port it to something completely wild. A 400-acre development zone that is unlike anything else. I'll be speaking at Davos in probably 6 to 10 years, right? This is everything from taking trash from major cities, converting it to natural gas to power hyperscaler to drive the infrastructure we'll need for a sovereign infrastructure. And then that will also be supported by a giant salmon farm, which takes the nitrogen through ceramic filters that are patented to do crazy things with energy itself. So it's really an energy quantum play.
Holy cow, you go from blockchain to salmon. This is awesome.
Dude, we'll have berry farms, we'll have solar, we'll have a tourist center, we'll have education. This is a really big idea. This will be the model, the first one. And it'll bring net new energy to this state. I won't mention the state. More than 1/8 of the state's entire power will be from us. We'll be exporting power.
Look, this is the pinnacle of innovation. This is like something that's game changer. It's out there, but you've dropped a lot of things, a lot of adjectives and a lot of not acronyms, but terms, and some of which I know I grasp too, but there's others where I'm like, I want to learn more about that, but I know what's behind it is your passion. So getting back to, tying this to the topic, you are the right fit for who you've partnered with. and who you're going to work for or work with, and now who you go out and hire, I know you're going to do thorough research, and it's not going to be, oh, well, I know EP from blah, 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 and he's a good friend. No, it's not the right fit. You need to find the right fit for whoever it is for whatever position. So I love what you're doing. So Scott, like, dude, awesome. I commend you moving on in your career. And I really, truly hope it is your last position. And I know you put everything into it. Just if we could have half of your energy, dude, I know you're going to be a success with it. So back
to the topic, I'll put a bow on it. Everything, the way that we're doing this, we're breaking every single rule in corporate. Like from our founders, myself, everybody, we're not going to do any of that. So we have weeklies with our customer as part almost of the company, from creative to marketing to even architecture to risks, indeed, to gaps that we don't know how we're going to do, to technologies that don't exist
yet. Your customers are your partners. Your customers feel like a partner.
From day zero. We don't even have an investor. We have a customer. We have investors knocking on our door. No, we're doing this different. This is going to be a very different experiment. And it's by design and intention and conviction that we're doing it that way.
Are you speaking at Black Cat, or are you just doing some networking to kind of, I know you're in stealth, right?
Yeah, we're in hyper stealth. When I drop the thing, and I'll be posting, I'll be super active on LinkedIn. Right now I'm going down quantum rabbit holes, marrying it with AI. It's wild, right? So I have to be like on a sabbatical right now.
So let me shift over to Neal. Neal, I know your number one hiring is for guys that are like, can you come in and help us? You walk in, and for you, it's a matter, nobody's done more obstacle courses in the mud than you. And yeah, this is a guy, yes, he does have not only a cool beard, but I know in 2 weeks he's going to be inviting me to get up at 4:00 in the morning in Las Vegas in 99-degree temperature and running down the strip. No, not doing it. But you've walked in enough mud. So when you get into the mud, like, do you have a process of how you measure how thick and deep it is to get it out of there to actually get people able to walk a cemented path again?
Yeah, I really like this. I do have kind of a blueprint, right, process that I take people through, because the biggest thing is when people put things on pen and paper, right, in a deck or something, it's a lot more powerful when you actually, it's beyond the PowerPoint deck. I mean, like, I want to see that there is a go-to-market playbook. I want to see that there is an ops playbook, like a physical thing that is not just more than someone who filled out a whiteboard into Jira and kind of put it there. Because here's the thing that I've learned over the years is the thing that you're talking about, EP, is it's a leadership problem in the industry right now, because everybody gets hyped, right? There's a lot of emotions, when people are hiring people. And so, as somebody who has, I've built and sold a business, I've taken a business public on a public offering and raised, hundreds of millions of dollars. I know what the stress is like to go through those things.
Yeah.
And so when someone's hired, if you're sitting with the founder, sitting with the VP or the C of something, and you're like, they're painting this amazing picture, right, of like, we're going to take this company public. Our goal is to get bought by IBM. Our goal is whatever this. And that person doesn't have that experience of being through those things. The employee buys into the leader and manager's dream. What they're not thinking about is the hard work and the things that are going to have to go into that. Yep. And really, there's like an intersection there, I think, of honesty, integrity, accountability, and self-leadership, to be like, I'm seeing this a lot now, like in the cyberspace, these folks that are like in our age bracket, the 40 to like 55-year-old people, and they're just like in this grandeur kind of mindset of like, I basically sat in a chair and got lazy over the past couple of years. And now, because I'm not like, I'm aging, and ageism is a thing. And what I'm seeing is like, people will blame that AI is taking over and all this other stuff. But it's really like, number one, it's a simple formula, is your personal brand, which all three of us have. the expertise and the wisdom and subject matter experience that we've garnered over the years of being in the trenches in all the ways we have. And then there is a velocity at which you have to move at.
Yeah.
And if you're showing up like when we were all 25 with a resume in hand, thinking you're going to walk in with your cover letter, hand over a resume, get asked the 10 bullshit interview questions, and land the job because of that, it's just ended.
Those days are gone.
No more doing that.
Yeah, it's gone. Guys, we're not going to go through the other two because there's just not enough time, and I think we are going to have another part 2 to this maybe. I'm going to throw them up on the screen because we all got jobs to do. I'm going to share out something that I think will be good just to kind of bring this full circle. Here's the reality, guys, if I can bring this up and just give me a second. This is the reality of the 3, and then there's 2 more we didn't get to today. But I just picked the top 5. No market demand represents 42% of failure. Cash problems, we talked about, 29%. Team and internal issues, which we just finished talking about, 23. And then you've got competition, pricing, mistakes, poor business model is over there at almost 20%. So a lot of times you'll hear the sales team say, oh, they're kicking our butt. The price is better. You know what? The guy that's actually complaining, that's part of the problem that goes up to the wrong hire. Find a way to get through it, because at the end of the day, and this is great with regards to AI, people buy from people. It's all about the relationship. Love what Shagghie was putting out there. We're talking to our customers every week. You know why he's doing that? Because number one, he's doing something no one else is doing. And if he doesn't stay close with the clients, he's going to have to be careful because he's going to lose them. And in about 18 months, somebody else is going to say, oh, that thing that Shagghie and friends are doing, we're going to do that. And then he's going to have to worry about losing them to that. But the reality is things that Neal is doing with all his clients is the relationship. So having the right people that can build the relationship. Guys, before we go, I know you guys can you guys give me 5 more minutes? Are you good?
100%.
Neal?
I got 3.
Okay. Let's do this real quick because I put it together. This is going to be something fun that we do called Startup or Shutdown. So Neal, since you got to bail out early, I'll have you do the first 3. Shagghie, if you got a really good zinger, come over the top on it. I want you to tell me with these things I throw up, would you start up with it or shut down? Startup means I'm all in. Shutdown goes, hell no. You guys ready? Neal, you do the first 3. Hiring a fractional CMO or CRO instead of a full-time exec.
Thumbs up. Let's do it.
Of course you would. Raising $2 million plus pre-revenue just to move faster. Start up or shut down?
Shut down.
Number 3, using AI tools to replace non-core functions like bookkeeping or early support.
1,000% do it.
1,000%. I like that. All right. Hey, before you bail, man, what's going on in your world? Tell us about your big damn ass event that we're all going to be looking forward to either going to or getting somebody out there for it. Tell us what's going on with you in Austin.
Yeah. So the big vision currently to work backwards from that is I want to throw a big, huge cyber event alongside South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And so so when people are like, why are you doing all these crazy things? We're running events all over the country. We're doing happy hours. We're doing these shooting events with helicopters and former Green Berets and all this like badass stuff. But ultimately what it's meant to do is build actual relationships and experiences and build an event that you cannot forget. That's the thing. We've all been to the Black Hats and the RSAs and the bourbon and steak things, and we can barely remember what the food was, let alone who was there and what the outcome was. And so that's a big push of what we're doing.
What's the date? You got a date for it?
I've got all the things. What I'll do is I'll get it over to you, and you can post it in the show notes. But we're gonna be at Black Hat, and then we're doing a big one in Austin, Texas, in October, kind of as the in-between of Black Hat and RSA. And I think the industry just really needs it. We need to get back to some reality 100%. Instead of numbing ourselves off into like knowing, like many of us go to these things just to be honest, and we know it's not the best use of anyone's time, but yet we want to find ways to stay connected in our network. And so I want to create spaces where people can do that.
All right, I'm going to come find you at the Cyber Lounge and mark it on your calendars, guys. Wednesday from 4 to 6. Wednesday at Black Hat, 4 to 6. Come find me at -5, the infamous -5. I got a special thing that I'm doing there. There's 7 startups, and then let's hang out in the igloo, and let's do a little 5-minute clip in there, all 3 of us. So meet me there, 4 to 6, if you guys can make it. And then I want to get more information from you, Neal, on what you just threw out there. I'll put a link into the body of this post, and anybody who wants to get more information can reach out to Neal. And if you are a CISO, a like-minded person like Shagghie here, you guys need to be at this event because his events are popping. I hear nothing but great things from him. So awesome
Let's
stuff.
do it.
Go
All
pay
right.
some bills, dude. You bail out. Shagghie, you're going to shut down with me. Good?
All right.
All right. Awesome. Later, Gator. All right. So Shagghie and I to finish. Now, I know you're chomping at the bit. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't give you a shot at some of those startups. So again, startup or shut down. I'll give you a couple more. You good?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Founders splitting equity 50-50 without role clarity. Startup.
Like the first part, hate the last.
Oh, so we got a split within the split. Okay, fair enough. Hiring friends or family because you trust them.
I'm going to actually say hell yes. If they're qualified and skilled and have the same vision as you, trust, and when you're starting a company, is the single most important thing when you're building something meaningful.
It is so true. And I actually have been on both sides of this. I've been on the side where this can be a conflict of interest. And oftentimes it won't be. It's because of what you just laid down. And I think the happy medium for startup founders out there that you're like, hey, should I hire my cousin? Should I hire my wife's brother? Things of that nature. Make sure it's very clear what the expectations are, and make sure it's very clear that there are benchmarks and that there are meetings. And at those meetings, if you're off by 3 degrees, then make sure you're clear in the meeting. You're off by 3 degrees. Please have that fixed by next week. That means a lot, and that's where my head's at as the CEO.
Yeah. I'll clarify and just say, for me, my kind of line there is, if you absolutely need that person, as it happens, which is rare, they're one of one for what they can do and bring, and you value their trust against that, paramount. If they're non-essential or replaceable, I discourage it.
Yep. Totally agree. One more. Pre-selling or crowdfunding. This would be interesting now that I know what you're doing. Pre-selling or crowdfunding before your MVP is built. Start up or shut down?
It really depends. You're building a product or device on a crowdfunding site. I mean, I love this model. I absolutely love crowdsourcing stuff to bring new tech and devices into the world. I wouldn't do this for an OpEx model business.
Okay. That's actually a good point. Yeah. You want to keep it for certain models would demand this. Others, you might want to shy away. Is that where you're going? Yeah. I definitely like that. Listen, man, love that you gave a great plug on what you're doing, because I know a lot of friends and family and network are going to get a lot out of that. And it's hard for you to get that message out to everyone. And I know you're going to be a busybody at Black Hat getting that message across. So hopefully this gives them all a jump start if they can catch this episode of Epic Hype. What do you have planned? Do you have meetings specifically trying to chase down some partners? Do you plan on hanging out at the Cyber Lounge? Where can people find you if they want to, get your ear, catch up, or maybe, talk some more shop about what you laid out on the tracks today?
Well, it'll be one or two places: with you in front of the camera doing the damn thing, or likely offsite with my woo-woo family, that trust group and collective. And then, I like to blow things up too. I like to not go to the events these days, like many of us. But my primary objective for going from a business perspective is going to be finding the brightest minds that are leaning the furthest forward, that come from multiple disciplines like cryptography, quantum, blockchain. Already those three are really hard to find people with wisdom and experience. So I'm going to be networking my way to find those personalities, and I have a lot of good ideas already on how to do that. So I'll be busy in that regard.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
We'll make sure you keep the app open for communication, and I'll definitely track you down, and we'll do a walk together, and hopefully we can get some decent reception in there, and maybe do a 5-minute little live recording. But yeah, man, looking forward to seeing you out there. So appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your great announcement. Do me a favor when you've got something big coming out, MVP or something to take your company out and proud to the masses. Give me a shot here. We'll put you on Epic Hype. We'll make an announcement. You want to bring a partner on, we can do that too. Let's do an Epic Hype just about that. And other than that, man, you are one of the few men on the planet that I do get jealous of your hair, and your hair is looking great, dude. So make sure you have that due next week, and let's rock out with the Gunners. I got to get some new pairs, actually. Yes, Gunner. I just gave you some love. This man turned me on to Gunner. By the way, I need that contact if you still have him. Yeah. Outside of that, dude, get the hell out of here. Go do your magic, your black magic that you're all about. And thanks for hanging out with me on Epic Hype. You are excused. I'm going to shut down, do another promo, and get the heck out of here. Oh, by the way, let me just give you a little teaser. Next week, guess who's on Epic Hype? I didn't tell you this one yet. And you're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me. Love me.
Malcolm Arkins.
Dave Alfaro.
Okay.
Dave White.
Yeah.
And Sig Murphy.
Yeah, I love these people are fam. They're brilliant, and I love what they're building. Let's go. I wish I was on it. Like you said,
it's gonna be fun, man. Yeah, I always love having you on, and I thought that this one would be perfect for you. But man, we'll have some more fun out in Black Cat. Get out of here. I'm gonna take you out the stage, and I'm gonna close shop, man. Peace out, brother. You owe me $10 for the 2 heads.
I owe you about $2,500 at this point.
Peace out, brother. All right, guys, let's close shop. We got to bring it down. I'm going to give one more shout out to our sponsor, Prancer. I want to thank them for being the sponsor, cloud security that actually keeps up. That's Prancer, real-time compliance, AI-powered validation, and attack simulations that don't wait for the breach. It's proactive, it's powerful, and it's now modern DevSecOps getting it done. Level up at Prancer.io and stop flying blind in the cloud. Tell Farshid over there, he's the CEO. He's the man at the top. He's making good decisions. I've been watching him grow for the last 6 months. And hit him up. Tell him that you talked to me, EP. Mention Epic, and he might just give you a great, nice little discount off of what he's pushing over there. To catch more full-length episodes of Epic Hype, well, it's really simple what you got to do. All you need to do is hop on over to the YouTube channel. Yeah, that's where I'm at. You'll find me over on YouTube at Epic Starts with EP. Got a channel full of a lot of different videos, obviously trying to talk about topics like this for CEOs and founders, but I also like bringing on CEOs and founders and telling their story, getting the DNA, their background, their journey. And I've got some new things coming around the bend where we're actually going to start putting more of a hard focus on the technical aspect of these companies. So again, go over to Epic Starts with EP. You can find me on Insta. You can find me on YouTube. And you can also find me on LinkedIn under Edward Preston AI. Gosh, I think I got everything done. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was an awesome show. Anytime I go beyond an hour, I know we got something good. And these two guys, so much content to cover. And I really think that we're going to have to do maybe one more continuation of this episode with a sequel of all sorts to talk about more failures, to try to help out CEOs and founders out there, try to avoid the pitfalls that we've been through, that we see people go through, and try to keep you in the 10% category. That would be the actual startups that actually do make it. 90% of startups do fail. And it's a lot of the times because of things that we talked about today. They're just not thinking about thorough enough. They're not putting a advisory council around them, getting the right resources, making the right hires to get to the top. And that's what we want to see you guys do. That is a wrap. My name is EP. This is Epic Hype, reminding all of you that everything epic does start with EP. And I'll see you guys on the next show.